Shalom, welcome to the Jewish View. My name is Rabbi Nachman Simon with the Chabad House of Delmar, and together with my co-host Mark Cornish, who's covering the capital for over 30 years.
Yes, and I've survived, and I'm really, I really have enjoyed it all these years. It's really been a really great experience. So if you need a tour of the capital, let me know. But with us today, we love having law enforcement on the show, and we have the
Good
sheriff.
for protection for you, Mark.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. If anybody at the Capitol wants to get him.
We have the sheriff of Montgomery County,
there you go.
Just west of Albany, Michael Amato. Welcome to the Jewish View.
Good morning, gentlemen. Nice to be here.
Well, it's good to have
What
you.
are the major cities? Just what are you covering, really, starting off with the basics?
Well, major city, the only city we have in the county is the city of Amsterdam.
Really?
And
Gloversville is not?
No, that's Fulton County.
All right.
Which
We got to
used
get
be-
my geography
It used to
right.
be Montgomery County at one time. Montgomery County used to be a good part of New York State at one time.
So it's a lot of little towns and
Yes,
villages.
we're rural pretty much. Amsterdam is our biggest area that has the most population of the county there. And actually, that's growing over the last 10, 15 years.
Really? Why? What's coming in?
Well, Route 30 North, which is the main route north and south in our county on our east end, it's really grown in stores, a lot of stores in that area, retail, and
All right, excellent.
a lot of business going on in that. That's a very busy township for us.
So for a county, that's what they say, the people in, like, if I can call them the boondocks, you know, the people outside of everything, that's really your territory. I mean, you wouldn't go around Amsterdam. That's what they say with other counties, the cities, but the people outside, they're very rural areas.
Well, we have jurisdiction throughout the whole county.
Yeah, sure.
But the city, we stay out pretty much because the city has their own PD. We help them on certain issues that they have, like we have a joint SWAT team. So we go in the city when they need help with our members of the SWAT team. And the sheriff's office, of course, we do civil work, which police departments don't do. So we have to go in the city to take care of civil, we evict people, garnish their wages, things like that.
Now, I also know that Amsterdam has the highest per capita Hispanic population in the state.
Yes, sir. Yes, it's changed dramatically. I started back in 1979, and Amsterdam back then, was predominantly, Polish, German people, and it's changed dramatically. Where now we have a lot of Hispanics, Colombians, Haitians, a lot. They just, for whatever reason, they like Montgomery County. It is a nice county,
Well,
very pretty county. There's, job opportunities, like I said, over the last 10 years, 15 years, have really grown on that end of the county.
Is it helpful to have bilingual Spanish-English, or is it helpful for your force to be bilingual?
Yes, it is. Problem is, we're having a hard time keeping people. Like a lot of sheriff's offices, we don't pay a lot. So we attract them, we train them, they get the training and they leave, especially if they're bilingual. Other agencies that pay more, state police, they would rather go there because of the money and the benefits.
So what would you say was an average salary? I know when you start off it's low and then you move up as the years go on, but what's an average salary?
Well, after a year, you're making pretty close to $50,000, about $49,000 and change. And it sounds like a lot, which
not for putting your life on the line.
No, it isn't. But when you look at the county, the income for the county really isn't that high. The average income per person. So you look at
Buying
that.
a house probably is not like in the New York City area. So I'm sure a house isn't that expensive.
Yeah, the housing is a little bit cheaper in our county. Yes.
What's your salary?
My salary is $90,000.
Yeah, okay. Which is low compared to other sheriffs.
I actually make less than the chief of police in the city of Amsterdam. And I have a jail.
Yeah.
I have the civil office. I do the 911 center for the whole county.
So are you building a new jail, or did you? Or?
No, we built the jail in 1994.
So do you
We
need
started our design in 94 and we moved in 97.
Do you need a new jail?
Oh, no.
No, you're good.
Yes, we're good
So
right
it's
now.
100, well, how much, 176 prisoners, or?
Well, our rating is about 176 right now. And I just redone a section of the jail in our female area so we can house another 6 people in there. So it'll go up a little over 180 that we'll be able to house. It's a good-sized jail for our area.
So you don't have you're not maxed out at any time, are you?
No. In fact, we've been running low for about a year now, our housing. We used to run an average of 130, 140 inmates all the time. And we've been averaging about 90 to 100 now.
That's good, less crime. Is that a good?
Well, I don't know if that's the issue.
Really?
I know the laws have changed over the years, especially we house federal prisoners.
Yeah.
And they changed some of the federal laws and let some of the federal prisoners out of jail, and they don't arrest them anymore and detain them like they used to because the law has changed now. And so we don't get as many federal prisoners. And locally, it just seems like it's been very quiet as far as has over the years.
But what's the opioid heroin problem in your county? How bad is it?
It's not that big yet, but it's growing. In fact, it was about a week or so ago, we had our first save. We had a gentleman that overdosed, got a call, and our deputies had just got trained, probably about 3 weeks earlier.
Using Narcan.
Yes, yeah. And they responded to the house, and they got there before EMS or anybody, and they realized that the person had overdosed, and they had to use Narcan twice to get him to come around, and they saved his life.
Oh, that's great.
But
hope he's appreciative.
I hope so too. I know he was in rehab last I checked in on him to find out what was going on. So hopefully he's trying to straighten himself out.
Do you walk through the jail yourself? Do you, say hi to the prisoners? Do you?
I'm hands-on.
You're hands-on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I go in at least once a day and walk around, check things out. They don't like when I come into jail because I always find something wrong and I want to correct it. I don't like if this is. If this is messed up, or this needs to be painted, or this place is dirty. I want this area cleaned. They don't,
Well, I had a tour of the Albany County Jail, and it seems like the prisoners really want their privacy, where they'll put a bed sheet over their bars, and just because they don't want to have to do their private stuff out in the open. So, and the corrections officers will tell them, you got to take that down. They'll blow a whistle, whatever.
Right. Well, we don't have any bars in our place.
Oh, tell us about that.
Yeah, we have regular doors, wooden doors with steel doors, with windows in them that go into the cell, and the windows have a tubular bar on the outside with glass. And just about everywhere you look is glass, and that's because we want to be able to see what's going on all around us all the time.
Well, it's not real glass. I mean,
it's bulletproof
plexiglass.
It's bulletproof glass on the inside, and it's got hardened glass on the outside.
Yeah, okay. And I just want people to know that it's just not the glass that you use drinking water.
They told us when we built the place that it would take 30 minutes to break through a window with a sledgehammer. And I'm thinking, well, I hope they can't get a sledgehammer in there because, but we've had them break windows before, but it's only the outside. The interior part, there's 3 layers on the glass, and it's just the outer part that breaks. That protects the inner glass. The inner glass actually is soft surface, so you can scratch it, but, that's what we have left. We don't know bars. And we have the same issues. They try to put stuff up on the windows. I think to aggravate us more than anything else.
Okay. Now, you had a relatively famous corrections officer for a time in your place. The former mayor of Schenectady, Al Jasinski, was corrections
notorious.
Yes. What was that experience like, having a former mayor as a corrections officer?
I knew him because sheriff's office is political. I have to get elected. And I go to fundraisers, whatever. And one fundraiser I went to, he was sitting next to me. This is before the first time I ever met the man, and we got along fine. He likes to talk, so we got along very well. And the next time I seen him, he was banging on my door looking for a job. Oh. And we can hire before they take the test if there's no established list from a test. So we hired him that way. But I told him that he has to take the test and pass it. If he can't, he's out of a job. Right. He took it. He passed. Oh. And he actually did a very good job. Everybody liked him. Yeah. He was a very good officer. And, he had tried to get some more years in for his retirement. He was up front with me on that. He said, I'm not going to be staying here the rest of my life. And, because when I interviewed him, I wanted to know what his intentions were. And he stayed longer than he wanted to stay. And he enjoyed it. And to this day, he still comes back once in a while. He likes bringing his pizzas to the office. Okay. He had one girl who used to bring the heart-shaped pizza on Valentine's Day too. And
Isn't that sweet?
Yeah, he got along very well with everybody. So
Yeah.
and he was
Well,
very good.
he was telling us, he was on the show, and he was telling us that that some of the prisoners were from Schenectady
Oh, yeah.
and knew him as mayor, and were surprised to see him in a uniform.
Yeah, so we house prisoners from
Yeah.
other areas.
So-
And, Schenectady is one of the ones we take orders. And
So they knew him when they got arrested. From when they got arrested.
yeah, that's something. But,
So,
But you also have the Thruway going through your area. Now, do you police that, or that's obviously, there's so many different layers of policemen, obviously state troopers are
well,
around.
the state Thruway Authority contracts with the state for troopers to be on it. So it's kind of a closed area where the state police are on the Thruway only. That's still in my jurisdiction, of Montgomery County, but, we don't go out there for the simple reason that it's authority that oversees it.
yeah.
But we work together on issues if things happen, the Thruway State Police and us.
Do
So,
you run a yellow dot program?
Yes, we do.
And what is that about?
Well, it's where you put on your car, you put a little yellow dot, and if you have an accident or something happens to you and you're not coherent, the responders will know that there is your medical information in the glove box. And it's been fantastic. We keep running out of yellow dots in the program. Yeah, we have to keep asking. The State Sheriff Association took over that program, and we have to keep asking them for more supplies. But it's very good. And
also within the house, like they put it on the refrigerator
yes,
too.
you can put it on your window where mostly you come in the house, the main door, and we'll see that. But it's working really well.
What other types of programs like that do you also offer?
Well, we don't have too many.
No.
No. We used to have calling where we used to call seniors every day. I was just going to mention that. You had mentioned how we had a large population of Hispanics. We also have a very large population of older people in Montgomery County from 16 above. So that's something we have to, watch out for in our county. You look at your county, what the demographics are, seniors are. So we try to deal with them a lot and do a lot with them. Like they have their senior functions, and we try to be part of that all the time. They have a senior picnic where they have like 500 seniors come all the time, and we try to be part of that. Bring our canine.
I thought you were going to say your cane.
No, we sniff for their drugs. But we bring officers there and we interact with them, but we are a big part of their community because they're a big part of ours.
How many canines do you have for the sheriff's office?
We have one on the road and we have one in the jail.
Okay.
Yes, and they do a good job. Very happy with our dogs.
Next time you come on, we'll have you bring one of them.
Okay. Well, you had mentioned that. I figured maybe you had one already, so I didn't want to bring
No, I
another
don't have
one.
my own canine. But anyway, there's an issue going around that says with the opioid heroin issue that there should be supervised areas for shooting up. Do you know about this?
No, it's the first I'm hearing. A supervised area for them to shoot up their heroin?
Yeah.
No, I never heard
So
that.
at least they know, so that they're not hiding, and there's a big controversy in law enforcement.
I would be agast it.
You would
but,
be,
yeah.
It's interesting because I went up to Shenandoah High School. I saw that they had a supervised cigarette smoking area outside the principal's office, so he could know at least they're not hiding in the woods there and smoking and maybe discarding a cigarette and starting a fire, but at least they were on like a picnic bench and the principal would know who's smoking. And I'm like, this is ridiculous, But that's what their policy was, and they had that in the 80s, where they had supervised smoking areas.
No, I'd be against it. I don't know. They need help.
Yeah.
If they need help, they should be going to get treatment. We shouldn't be there encouraging them that we're going to watch them and protect them and make sure they're okay. In fact, in the beginning with the Narcan, I had issues with that myself personally.
Yeah.
Because you have a person that's overdosing and you bring them back to life, and then they're going to just think, well, maybe I can do it again. And the police or the emergency services will show up and they'll revive me.
Right.
So I have that issue there. But that's my job, is to save lives, protect people. And so that's why we do it.
But you say, if they want to die, let them die.
Well, you want to try to help the people.
Right, I know.
And my answer to that would be, well, maybe they need some type of medical help.
But that was your other quandary. You said you were struggling with it, so you know, your other side of
Well,
you was
they
saying
feel-
if they want to die, let them die, and but you're there to save lives, so you have to administer Narcan.
Yes,
you know, so.
yes, you know, and it's unfortunate, but you gotta look at them. They're in a position in their lives where their decision making isn't that good, and so you have to kind of make that decision. So, you know, I played all those things in my mind
Yeah.
when we were talking about using the Narcan, and I said, no, my job is to save or protect lives, and that's what I've got to do, and let the other people in the society that are supposed to take care of these people in the other professions, let them, you know, step up to the plate too.
And you also administer pistol permits?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
I don't sign off on the permit, but we do
Who
the
does?
background. My county judge does it in our county. But we do the background investigations, and you know, we do the class every month. We do 2 classes a month, because in the last 5 or 6 years, people have been very afraid of not getting their pistol permits. And we're getting all types of people come in. I have people come in 80 years old, 85 years old, they want a pistol permit. And it's like, wow, all these years, and now you want a pistol permit, you know? And they all say the same thing. We're afraid that the government's going to take that right away from us, and we want to have a gun now. And so
interesting.
So our pistol permits have soared. We used to do about 100 a year, you know, and we process about 100 a year. We might have a couple hundred people come to classes. Now we actually processed over 600 permits last year.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it's money.
Well,
You gotta
yeah.
pay it as a fee.
We do all the work, everybody else gets the money.
Oh, okay.
We charge a fee, but our fee covers for our mailings and our background checks and things that we do.
Right.
So we actually do work. Other agencies charge a fee, and they charge a lot more than we do, and for the amount of work that they do. But you know, we try to keep it down as much as we can, because the taxpayers pay for us in our county.
Now, you mentioned that you have, what, 27 years in the law enforcement? Or?
I got, I'm on my 38th year.
38th year,
Yeah.
okay. See, I'm doing capital 37 years.
I had to stop and think, because you know, I don't get asked a lot.
So, you know, 38 years, so are you like 57, 58?
I'm 60.
You're 60?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're with the elderly
Yeah.
that you were talking
I
about.
get my ARP card in mail all the time. I want me to join.
You can't quite get that. You can't quite get that. Did you go to college?
Not really. The minute I got out of high school, I had a job.
Amsterdam
And,
High School?
No, I went to Fonda Fultonville.
Okay.
And I'll give you a little bit of history myself. I lived out in the rural area of the county, and a guy who lived across the street from me, he did a lot of work on cars. And I was a kid, and I was interested in cars. So I used to go every night when he was home, I'd go over there and watch him work on cars, and I got interested, and he had me start helping him rebuild cars. He'd do body work and stuff. Well, he was a foreman in a garage, in a body shop, and when I got out of school, he had gotten me a job the next day. So I graduated on a Saturday, and on a Monday I was working already. And so my mother always wanted me to join the military, and I started looking into that, but I was happy working in my job, and then shortly after that I got part-time in the sheriff's office in 1979.
Oh.
So
What made you do that?
I was always interested in law enforcement or military.
But from cars to law enforcement, I mean...
I was always interested in law enforcement, or something to do with military or law enforcement. I had to write an article once, and what it boils back to is when we were kids, we lived in New York City.
Oh.
And my parents moved up to Montgomery County because it was safe. Where we lived was bad, and it was getting worse.
What borough?
I lived in East New York, in Brooklyn.
Oh, I grew up in Mill Basin in Brooklyn, so I'm from Brooklyn also.
Yeah, and it was great when I was a kid. You know, we'd play out. I was 10 years old when we moved upstate.
Oh.
But you'd stay outside late at night, but then it got really bad. We had people got shot in front of our apartment house. Our place got burglarized. My parents got a dog, and they said, that's it, we're getting out of the city.
Sure.
Going to take our family someplace where it's safe.
Hasn't changed.
So,
All these years, it
Yeah,
hasn't changed.
so we moved upstate to Montgomery County.
What town?
I lived in the town of Charleston.
Okay.
It's right in the center of the county, the southern part of the county. And so I went to Fonda Fultonville School. And right after that, I went to work in the garage. As I was actually washing the walls and sweeping the floors and helped put some of the cars together, because I didn't have any real skill at that time.
Yeah.
And 6 years later, when I left, I was the foreman of the garage. And then I was a part-time deputy in the sheriff's office, and I left there. I left the garage and went to work in the sheriff's office.
And you took the exam
I didn't have to.
at that time?
See, back in 1979, it was what they call Flaherty law. And Flaherty law, it was like the Old West. The sheriff can hire you and deputize you, and you were his employee. He can fire you also, and you had no rights.
You serve at the pleasure of the sheriff.
At the sheriff, yes. And so he hired me, and I worked in the jail, and I worked on road patrol part-time. And after a couple of years, I went full-time. But the part-time, I would work Friday and Saturday night, every Friday and Saturday night for a whole year, midnight to 8. And then I started working Thursday nights in the jail. So I'd leave my other job, drive right to the sheriff's office on Thursday nights, and I work in the jail on Thursday nights.
You can't be an observant Jew in Montgomery County in order to miss services every time.
We had, I don't know, if Beach Nut, you familiar with?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
I actually,
You do the...
I was there. I filled in a few times. Why? What are you going to say?
Well, my wife, back when I first met my wife in the early 80s, we had a rabbi in Kanjahari.
Yeah.
And the rabbi would bless to make sure the food was taken care of in Beach Nut the right way.
Sure.
And my wife used to clean his apartment.
Really?
Yeah, and then I don't know if they still have one in Amsterdam anymore.
They have a synagogue in Amsterdam.
No, I mean a rabbi coming to Beach Nut anymore.
No, well,
Beach Nut moved to Amsterdam.
Yeah.
I thought Florida.
The town of Florida.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
near Amsterdam? I don't
Yes,
know.
it's south
I
there.
haven't been there.
I don't know who's going there. I haven't heard of anybody, so I didn't know if you still were.
Yeah,
were
Beach
involved.
Nut is still kosher, so
Yeah,
they
they
would
must
have
have
a rabbi
somebody.
there, yeah.
I don't know, maybe it's not permanent. Sometimes either like from the Albany area, I commuted. It's only an hour. I mean, that was.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
easy to
so-
drive. It's a throughway, and you
Yeah,
it's right
that's
there.
Yeah, I know.
But that's my wife used to take care of the
rabbi
rabbi
was-
back
So you
then.
know
Yeah.
about all
Yeah.
the Jewish things.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
great.
but he used to live right there, and that was it. Beach Nut he took care of Beach Nut. It was full time.
That's what most rabbis do. They live right by the
Because they're needed at night. It's not like a 9 to 5 job either. These
Right.
factories are running the first thing in the morning
Right.
and early morning.
The only time that I've heard different was in the Finger Lakes, the Manischewitz winery. The rabbi lived in Rochester and commuted to Manischewitz because there's really no really Jewish community where the
Base.
winery
Yeah,
is.
base.
So he commuted, and
Yeah.
But anyway, that was a whole other story.
But then I worked part time for a couple of years, and I worked my way up through the ranks.
And you seem to be very popular because you got 91% of the vote last time.
Yeah.
I get quite a bit.
For putting people away and and arresting people.
It was funny because I told my wife that time I ran opposed. A person that worked for me had ran against me, and I said to my wife, "Well, I only offended about 1,000 people in 20-some years. I guess that isn't too bad."
Well, that's where the 9% of the vote came from that you didn't get. But people like if you're honest and you can't give voters a reason to toss the incumbent out, then they vote for the incumbent.
Yeah, and the sheriff's position is very. If you're not a good sheriff, you'll know it after the first term. You'll be out of job, because the sheriff has to be with the people, and the people want to be able to know who the sheriff is and be able to contact the sheriff. And probably most of the time when you call my office, if you ask for me, and if I don't answer the phone, I'll be calling you back shortly.
Uh-huh.
It's just the way we do it. And, I'm responsible to you. You elect me and put me in my office, and I have to answer to you. And that's what's kind of nice about the office of sheriff, because, you have a problem in Montgomery County with a trooper. Who do you call?
Mm-hmm.
Who do you call?
Right.
You don't know who to call. But if you have a problem with a deputy, you know the number and file, then you're going to call the sheriff. And you're probably going to get a hold of the sheriff.
That's great.
And
No, that's very hands-on. You don't get
So-
that, in a lot of counties you don't get that. I know Albany County is very...
yes, Sheriff
Craig Apple.
Apple's a very good man.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
good man.
Are most sheriffs Republicans in the state?
Did you know? I'm
You
glad
don't
you
know?
brought that up, because when we get together as sheriffs, we don't care what our politics are.
No, I understand that,
And
but
I never-
but you run on a party line, and I just didn't. I know that you only have one female sheriff in St. Lawrence County.
Yes, yes.
Or
She's the
is
first
not-
one elected.
Yeah, she was at the Sheriff's Association meeting.
Yes, she
And I
was.
introduced myself to her, but I think it's a little far for her to come down here when she's not already planning to come down here. You know?
Yes.
But I'll have her on the show, I hope, eventually.
Yeah. I don't really, to be honest with you, I don't follow what their politics are. Because when we get in a room together and we argue over an issue, we all argue about the same thing.
The substance of the issue.
Yeah, we're on the same path, we're on the same mindset. It's very rare that we disagree, and I can't remember politics being a part of any of our arguments. And that's what's nice about being a sheriff, because when you don't have to worry, well, he's a Democrat and I don't like what he thinks. You don't think like that. You know, he has the same issues you have, you know, and you can talk about it. And it's nice.
Do you get along with the DA?
In my county, yes. Yes, I've known her for a very long time.
Yeah, you have to, you know, have a real working relationship, right? The
Yeah.
law and order. You're the order and she's the law, right?
Yeah.
Yes, right?
Yes, and you know, you have to interact. When I was a investigator, had a very close relationship with the district attorney in our county, and to this day, you know, still very close. He's a circuit court judge. And
Jed Comboy?
No, that's Guy Tomlinson.
Oh, Guy Tomlinson.
And Guy, he's the judge that always swears me in every time
okay.
I win an election, because we were very close when we worked together back then. I used to call him Adeline, because every time I bring a search warrant to him, he'd always want to add another line to it.
Oh,
and he'd drive me crazy, but he was only looking out for me and for him prosecuting, and I always had very good cases with him. I was very happy.
That's great. So what was your, in all the years, what was the most stirring case for you?
Oh,
Did you ever have one that was really...
Well, I've had a lot of different cases. I think probably the one that'll stick in my mind most of my life will be when a woman had a baby, a young woman had a baby, and she threw the baby in the woods in a plastic bag and died. And you know, we had nothing. We had a gentleman was brush hogging the woods, trying to push the woods back, and it was an old school, and he was trying to make the back of the fields of the school bigger, and he happened to run the baby over. And we really didn't have much of anything. And by, I think probably about 11 hours later, we had this girl under arrest.
Wow.
And you know, we had to go to trial and everything with it. But just to piece the puzzle back together of the things that we found, and the fact that this baby died and then was mutilated, and you know, it's something that sticks with you. But it was so rewarding to be able to find the person that did this.
Is she still in jail?
No, she's not. She's passed away since.
Oh, she has? Oh.
Yeah, she had a drug overdose and she passed away. So she, you know, she had her issues in life, and unfortunately she didn't grow out of them, and nobody was there to help her. And
Wow.
she died.
And the baby was, when the baby was run over, was the baby alive when it was run over?
No,
or?
she had suffocated the baby.
Oh, wow.
And placed the baby in the woods in a plastic bag.
Oh.
So it was a very sad thing,
Yeah.
but it was very good that we were able to close this case, because we would, to this day, we probably would have been searching, trying to figure out who the mother was.
Right.
You know, maybe with DNA now we would have had a better chance.
Okay.
You know, to find somebody, but back then it was in the early '80s.
Yeah, but in such a small county, people talk.
Well, yeah, you hope. We still have other little cases that we're trying to find out, you know, what happened, and unfortunately nobody's talking.
Oh, well.
So
again, so that was one of the.
That was, you know,
most
I could probably talk to you for a half hour about the cases that you had mentioned. I think the Thruway, the bridge
Right,
collapsing
the bridge
earlier.
collapse, yeah. What was
Yeah.
that like when because you were on the scene for that?
Well, I wasn't at the bridge when it actually went down. I was just downriver from it. We were rescuing people off, like I had mentioned to you earlier, island.
It's
in
20
North
years.
Valley.
It's 20
30
years.
years.
30 years, rather.
30
since
years.
Since the bridge collapsed on
Yes.
the Thruway, yeah.
I was there with the sheriff before me, Ron Emery. We were there with inmates and some of our other deputies rescuing people off this island. And I was standing right next to the sheriff when they called us from the sheriff's office to tell us that the bridge collapsed. And he said a few choice words, and then we ran up the hill and we went to the scene. And by the time we got there, the second section fell down. And you know, we found out that there was people in the water.
Yeah.
So it wasn't much you can do because the water was really raging at the time. If you seen somebody, you would try to help them.
Right.
But no, we didn't see anybody or anything.
Wow.
And the next morning, I was told to come back before daylight and get on the banks and start walking because the water was starting to recede overnight.
Uh-huh.
And we know pretty much how long it takes for the water to go down because we've been doing it for so many years and we have charts. So at that time, the sheriff told me, you get out there, before daylight and start walking. And
Did you find that there was an adequate state response to that?
as
Bridge
far
collapse?
as state police, the state itself,
State, yeah.
Well, the state-
The governor's office, things like that.
the governor came the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
They were on the scene. They were trying to help out, and we ended up splitting the duties.
Mhm.
The state police took care of the bridge, the area right around the bridge, and we took downstream of the bridge. And that next morning, I found a car with two gentlemen from Canada inside of it. The water was coming down just enough where I seen a ripple in the water, and we called it in, and we ended up dragging the car out.
Uh-huh.
But
They
and-
passed. The
oh
two,
yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
they must have died on impact. The car was flat,
Oh,
so either that or when it tumbled down
Sure.
the stream.
sure.
But that was very, that'll stick in my mind for a long time. It was very tragic. A lot of things happened back
And you were
then.
young, I mean, you were only in the force,
I was-
7 years or so, I mean,
At that time, that
7,
was
8 years,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So, all right.
All right. Well, you're doing great work, Sheriff, and, like you say, sometimes in your work, it's, you see the bad, the good, and the bad, but you try to make it more good than the bad over
right.
here. So keep on going, you're doing well, and do it with success and good health.
Thank
Yeah,
you very much.
continued success.
Thank you.